Follow the sun, and which way the wind blows when this day is done. Breathe in the air, set your intentions, dream with care. Tomorrow's a new
Hey,
day.
I'm Kate. That's me on the left in Yosemite National Park with my mum, Nancy, and my cousin, Katie. I was just about to set off on the biggest adventure of my life so far. And here's me a week into it, wondering if I'd made a big mistake. For the last few years, I have dreamed of cycling across America. I don't really know why. I guess I just wanted to see the country, and also if I could do it by pedal power. So I planned a route using adventurecycling.org, Beeline and Komoot, and gave it a go from August to October 2022. I rode my dad, Brian's, bicycle. He died in 2015, leaving me and my siblings with the parting instruction to be bold. And I'm not sure if it's exactly what he meant, but I've been taking his bicycle on wacky adventures ever since. I was joined for the first week by my friend Flick, and for the last by my cousin Joyner. Apart from that, I was totally alone. The journey taught me a good amount about America, myself, fixing flat tyres, and how hard it really is to climb a mountain on a bicycle. It was miserable and magical, and a massively humbling experience, both in terms of the mental and physical challenges of crossing the extraordinary land that forms the United States, and the kindness of the people in it. I had no idea what I was doing, but somehow, with some determination, a load of delicious fuel, and the help of a whole heap of the warmest of strangers, I made it. Along the way, I held my phone in my hand or tied it to mile markers in an attempt to capture some of the essence of the trip. I got a lot of rubbish footage. But with what turned out okay, I want to take you across the North American continent with me and share a little of what I learned along the way. First, a quotation from Frida Kahlo that will always make me smile. I read it on some street art in Moab on my very lowest day of the trip, and I thought, damn it, Frida. Anyway, turns out that she was right.
Follow the sun, which way the wind blows.
I was toting my pack along the dusty Winnemucca Road when along came a semi with a high and canvas-covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, you can ride. And so I climbed into the cab and then I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand, and I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Boston, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texarkana, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, Tallapoosa, Glen Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Oskaloosa, Tennessee, Chicopee, Spirit Lake, Grand Lake, Devil's Lake, Crater Lake, Beach Lake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Omaha, Shefferville, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bakersfield, Shreveport, Hackensack.
Lesson 1. Self-belief doesn't have to roar. The day before I set off, a friend messaged to wish me luck and ask how I was feeling. Half excited and half unwell, I replied. The idea of setting off from San Francisco was equal parts exhilarating and terrifying to me. I spent much of the night before staring at the dark ceiling, thinking, oh, here I go. I always used to look at people who took on big adventures and imagine that they had it all figured out. Maybe they do, but I certainly didn't feel that I did. Nevertheless, the sun rose in the morning and it was time to go. I took with me some wisdom that I first heard years ago. Recounting a story of consoling someone who was climbing a figurative mountain and who declared, I can't do it. This person replied, but you are doing it. I loved that. It wasn't until I reached the Welcome to North Carolina sign that I started to truly believe that I could cycle across America. Until then, I looked myself in the eye every time I found a mirror and said, often giggling at the ridiculousness of what was coming out of my mouth, I am cycling across America. Lesson 2. We are the only ones mucking up the planet and the only ones who can save it. Whether it was clear evidence of climate change in the wildfires of California, or the record low water in the Mississippi River, litter on the shoulders, or the countless poor dead deer, raccoons and skunks I passed, there was no escaping the harmful impact that we are having on our planet and everyone and everything we share it with. We wield huge power over our world, and you know what they say about power and responsibility. The challenges we face demand urgent action, and I wanted to share 4 things that I've read recently, in articles or at museum exhibits, that have changed the way I live. The average plastic grocery bag is used for just 12 minutes. Every toothbrush you have ever owned still exists on the planet somewhere. It takes 2,700 litres of water to produce 1 cotton t-shirt. Drinking 2 litres a day, it would take 3.7 years for the average adult to drink that amount. It's refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, in that order.
I roamed and rambled and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond desert, and all around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. There was a big high wall there that tried to stop me. The sign was painted, said private property, but on the backside it didn't say nothing. This land was made for you and me. This land is your
Lesson 3. The world isn't as scary as we think. When I started to share with friends and family that I was planning this big trip, the idea of it was met with much concern. Surprisingly, no one shared my own fears about whether or not I could get over the mountains, or what I would do if I actually got a puncture. Most people were worried that I would be the victim of a violent act. And honestly, I was worried about that too. I never forgot my own vulnerability. But do you know what? I met literally hundreds of times more wonderful, kind people than I did scary people. People who stopped their cars to ask if I needed food or water. People who invited me to join them at their diner table for lunch. People who cheered for me as I struggled up a hill. or who provided shelter from a storm. People who offered me a place to stay for the night. Wherever I looked, I had the extraordinary good fortune of finding that people were looking out for me. There is a beautiful book by Charlie Mackesy called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. It has been so popular in the UK that it may well be on the British citizenship test, but I'm not sure if it has made it beyond these shores yet. Anyway, it plants many beautiful seeds of inspiration and wisdom, and one of those is this. The mole says, "Most of the old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams." Amen to that.
There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. Whisper something soft and kind. And hey babe, the sky's on fire. I'm dying, ain't I? I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark and silent late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling. Geese in flight and dogs that bite. The signs that might be omens say I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me, still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. And I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone, I'm gone.
Before I knew it, I was riding through my mum's hometown of Wilson, North Carolina, and I was just a couple of days away from my finish line at Topsail Beach. My daily progress had added up, and after 3,659 miles and 357 hours of cycling, I had achieved my goal. I could hardly believe that this most intensely tough, wonderful, brutal and beautiful trip was complete, but I was so excited to celebrate all that it had been with my family.
You gotta keep